Hi, fifth graders. Today's topics are going to be factors, GCF, LCM, and decimals. So basically, GCF is greatest common factors, LCM is least common multiples. We're going to get started with factors. This is just basically review. So I'm going to just do number 5 with you guys. Number 5 gave us 10. So we need to find all the factors of 10. And we know that all numbers can have a factor of 1 and the number itself, right? So 1 is going to be one of the factors, and so is 10. Now we just rack through our brains to find any other multiples of 10. And we know that 2 times 5 equals 10 too, right? So we're going to put 2 and 5. And then we're going to find some more. So let's do like 3 times 1. That gives us 3. Okay, we can go higher. 3 times 2. It gives us 6. We can go a little bit higher. 3 times 3 gives us 9. Let's try it one more time. 3 times 4, which is 12. And so there's no factor of 10 for 3. And if you constantly go, you can go on and on, but you should already know that the only factors of 10 are 1, 2, 5, and 10. So all your factors of 10 are just 1, 2, 5, and 10. And you should put it in order because that's how you do the rainbow method. Like, remember it was like 10 times, oops. It was like 10 times 10, 10 times 1 and 2 times 5. It was like the rainbow method, so it's better for that you put it in numerical order. Now we're going to move on to greatest common factor, also known as GCF. So for this one, we're going to do number 5 again. It gives us 14 and 8. So we need to find the factors of both 14 and 8. So that's what we're going to do. So the factors of 14 are going to be 1, 2, 7, and 14, right? And there's no other because there's no other. And we know it's 1, 2, 7, 14 because 1 times 14 equals 14 and 2 times 7 equals 14. Now we're going to move on to finding the factors of 8. So I'm going to put 8, and then I'm going to find the factors. So obviously 1 and 8, right? But this 2 can also go in, and 2 times what equals 8? 4. So it's 1, 2, 4, and 8. And nothing else can go into 8 because there's no other factors. So once we found the factors of both 14 and 18, we're going to look at all the factors. So we see that both, and we're going to have to find the number that is the same, but then the highest number that's the same. So we're going to look, let's do from right to left. So the highest number that we get is 14, but we don't see a 14 where 8 is, where the factors of 8 are. So 14 is out of the question. Now let's do 7. 7 is in the 14, but it's not in 8, right? In the factors of 8, so 7 is out of the question too. We look at the 8 in the factors of 8, and we see that 8 is not in the factors of 14, so we're going to cross that out. Now we look at 4. 4 is not a factor of 14, so we're going to cross that out too. Okay, now we have that both the factors of 14 and 8 have 1 and 2. But it's asking us for the greatest common factor, right? So we're going to have to find the biggest number of these two, and it's obviously 2, right? So your GCF for 14 and 8 will be 2. Now, it's a long process, usually if the number has a lot of factors, but thankfully, this worksheet doesn't have any numbers that have like multiple factors, or at least not too many. Now we're going to move on to LCM. So this one, it wants us to find the least common multiple. So in the first two worksheets, we're finding the factors. Now we're going to find out the least common multiple. So we're going to do number 3 together. Number 3 gives us 3 and 4. So I'm going to do up till the multiple of 5, right? So I'm going to do 3 times 1, which is just 3. 3 times 2, which is 6. 3 times 3, which is 9. 3 times 4, which is 12, and 3 times 5, which is 15. Now we're going to move on to number 4, or the multiples of 4. Once again, I'm going to do 1 through 5. So 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 4 is 16, and 4 times 5 is 20. Now we have to look at the multiples and see which ones match. So off the bat, we see that 15 doesn't match, 16 doesn't match, 20 doesn't match, 9 doesn't match, 8 doesn't match, 6 doesn't match, and 4 doesn't match, and 5 doesn't match, right? We see that 12 matches, right? And it's the only one that matches in the multiples of 5, right? And so that's going to be your LCM. In most cases, it's easy to find LCM, or you could just multiply the numbers together and get the LCM, but sometimes it doesn't work. Like number 1, it gives you 3 and 6, right? You can multiply 3 and 6 together in 18 and get 18, but 18 will not be your LCM. So that's number 1 too. So when we do 3 and 6, the multiples of 3 are only, let's do up to 5 again. So 3 times 1, it's going to be the same as up here. So it's going to be 3 times 1, which is 3, 3 times 2, which is 6, 3 times 3, which is 9, 3 times 4, which is 12, and 3 times 5, which is 15. Now we're going to do the multiples of 6. So once again, 1 through 5. So 6 times 1 is 6, 6 times 2 is 12, 6 times 3 is 18, 6 times 4 is 24, and 6 times 5 is 30. So when we look here, 15 doesn't match, 30 doesn't match, 24 doesn't match, 9 doesn't match, 18 doesn't match, right? But we see, and 3 doesn't match. But we see that both 6 and 12 match, right? So as I said before, it's going to be, in this case, it's going to be the least common multiple. So we're going to look at for the smallest one. And in this case, it is going to be 6. So even if 12 is a common multiple between 3 and 6, the least common multiple will be 6, so your answer will be 6. And once again, this is a case where it doesn't work if you multiply the numbers together. It will not give you the LCM. It will only give you the product. So you have to be careful. It's better to do the long way than trying to find the shortcut. Now I'm going to do decimals. So basically the rules here is if it's filled up, then it's going to be 1, I'm pretty sure, because there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 10 boxes or squares by 10 squares. So that means that each box or square box, I think, has 100 small little squares. And that makes up 1. So we're going to do number 6 together. So once again, let's count them. So it's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it's 10 by 10, which is 100. So that's going to count as, this whole thing is going to count as 1. But when we look at the red one, it gives us that about 2, 4, 6, hold on, let's try again. 2, 4, 6, 7. So 7 whole rows are filled up all the way, right? So 7 times 10. So there's 7 here, right? 7 full ones. But there's 10 actual boxes, right? So 7 times 10 will equal 70. But we still have a few remaining here. And we see that it's about 2, 4, 5. So there's 5 remaining here. So for this one, we're going to do 70 plus 5, which is 75. This is 75 over 100, right? This one right here was 100 over 100, which is why it's just 1, right? So number 6 will be 1.75. So we add the 75 by the 1.00. So this is just basically 1.00 plus, and it's out of 100, so it's going to be in the hundreds place, plus 0.75. And that gives you 1.75. So for this one, just remember that this whole box is 10 by 10, so it's 100, which is basically just 1. And the ones that are not filled up all the way, it's going to be your decimal. And that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video helped